That's okay.
You're watching Meet the Movie Press? Coming up, we're gonna be talking about Deadpool 2 and Avatar and Blade Runner and Wonder Woman, a whole bunch of great stuff. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome back to Meet the Movie Press. Before we begin today's
Welcome
episode,
to Popcorn Talk,
Bit of
featuring
business.
movie discussion, news, and interviews.
That's us.
guys,
No, we're good. Well, this is exactly what we need to talk about.
before we talk about anything, Simon, okay? Did you review all the new rules and notes?
The memo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. From now on, no meetings in my dressing room.
No.
Okay. No stopping by. No popping in. That goes to the AfterBuzz TV staff as well.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
Do not come to my dressing room unless invited. Do not open the door.
No.
If you open the door, expect to be removed. My security team will be preventing anyone standing at my door from talking to me. I want all the ambushing to just stop. Schedule an appointment. This ends now. No more. No more.
No, I get it. I feel the same way. I mean, also don't approach me while I'm in the hair and makeup chair, especially the hair chair. Because that takes ages, and you'll just slow the process down.
Right. He's busy. He's busy.
Unless I ask to speak to you directly, don't speak to me. Either knock or use the doorbell. And I have a big pair of knockers on my door here.
You sure do.
I do. I'm seeking more free time for me throughout the day because, this takes a lot of work. Don't wait in the hallways to speak me. I will not entertain you in the hallways or the bedroom, according to my wife.
But we can entertain people right now, Simon.
We can. So this is where we hang out.
This is true.
Not when I'm in the cubicle. No talkie in the poopy.
Of course not.
Yeah.
This is Me the Movie Press.
It is. Hi.
I'm not Steve Harvey, but I am Jeff Sneider, editor-in-chief of The Tracking Board, tracking-board.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheInSnyder.
Yeah.
And Simon, with me as always.
I'm just glad that you confirmed that you're not Steve Harvey, because I always get you confused.
We do look alike.
I do, yeah, it often happens. And you're never in the same room together. Now we know why. But anyway, I'm Simon Thompson. You can find me on Twitter @ShowbizSimon, Instagram @ShowbizSimon, and I also have a Facebook page. This is Simon Thompson.
Great. Where do you want to start this week? Busy week.
Let's talk about something that we thought was never going to happen, because we were told recently it was never going to happen. You thought it was never going to happen, but now it's a thing that's happening. Hellboy Reboot.
Well, I never said that the reboot wouldn't happen. I said Hellboy 3 was never going to happen. And
That is true.
Sure enough, it didn't.
It did not. This is different.
So we have David Harbour playing the big red guy now.
Obviously, his name was linked to Cable in Deadpool 2.
Yep.
By the media.
Yep.
So,
And he's on Stranger Things.
I wonder if he was having conversations about Cable 2 and this and going, do I want to be second string, main villain? Do I want to be potentially starting off my own franchise? I think that's why he's gone for this. And Neil Marshall is going to be directing, which, although that guy has had a couple of movies that for me have missed the mark, I'm genuinely intrigued to see what he will do with this. Thoughts, Jeff?
Neil Marshall for me has not. The movies have not worked. I know that he does some good stuff on TV. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I know obviously that show has won a lot of awards for directing. I'm not a big Hellboy guy. I don't know that I'm going to see this if it's not from the mind of Guillermo del Toro.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to say that they won't potentially bring him on in a consultancy or input or whatever role. I think that's unlikely, if I'm honest. But I think what they might do is bring in some of the nuances of his world, mix that with what is in the graphic novels, the books, the comics, and kind of make something that is perhaps a little bit more palatable for a mainstream audience.
Sorry, forgive me.
No, that's fine. I know you're trying to get tickets to the ice cream cafe. That's absolutely fine. Jeff is, just to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, Jeff is currently in a virtual queue.
Guys, I'm
for
trying to
tickets
just
for the
buy
ice
some
cream
tickets
museum.
to see the Museum of Ice Cream.
You love museums
and they have me in a
ice
virtual
cream.
queue, so forgive me.
That's fine.
But no, my phone was ringing. There's a lot of distractions
You're so
going
busy.
on.
But yeah,
no. I am focused on the show, and I don't understand the appeal of Hellboy as a character if it's not being played by Ron Perlman. I know David Harbour's a great actor, But this is just not for me.
I totally agree with you, but I think the ticket buying audiences, as we saw from the returns of Hellboy and Hellboy 2, which were fine, but not, nothing to get overly excited about. I think audiences feel slightly differently, and I think obviously with the backing of Stranger Things, will make David Harbour probably a more, more of a household name than Ron Perlman, which I think will help. It'll give people, I think it'll make it a bit more. The other films weren't inaccessible, as in the fact that you could access them, but I think this will open it up to an audience who perhaps might have previously not been that interested with Hellboy.
Sure, yes.
I am curious to see, I mean, it might be terrible, but I am curious to see what they come up with. I think the combination of those two guys could be really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, I listen, I'm willing to give Neil Marshall the benefit of the doubt. I just don't really care. I'm not invested in the world of Hellboy.
But there's a lot of movies that I think we hear about, that sort of, are certainly discussed whether or not they come into fruition, that perhaps when we hear about them, we're not particularly interested or we think they might sound really, really bad. But actually, when we see the first footage or we see, the final product, we're actually like, okay, I was wrong. Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, was a really good example of that for me. I thought that was just a really bad idea that was going to go horribly wrong, and I thought that was going to be one that was going to spoil. I couldn't have been more wrong, and I'm very happy that I am wrong on that one, because Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite Marvel movies. But yeah, so I think, we'll see what happens.
All right, what's next on the list?
Okay, this is a film that you don't think is ever going to happen, but I am looking forward to. Edge of Tomorrow sequel.
That's next on the list? That got second billing of this show?
Well, I have no specific story order. I just like to talk about things. So Edge of Tomorrow sequel. It's been given a tentative title of Live. Obviously, when the first one came out, there was the subtitle of Live, Die, Repeat, which was one that was kind of pushed to the fore when it hit the home entertainment market.
Yes.
So what they're looking at the moment is calling it Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, which I think is a terrible name.
That is so stupid.
That is so bad. Why would you not have just gone Edge of Tomorrow?
But who said this?
Morrow.
Who said this? Did Doug Liman say it in an interview?
The internet's was released in a statement
Until
this week.
Warner Brothers announces that that's the title of that movie, I refuse to believe it.
I think that's a terrible title.
It is.
I think it's a really, really bad title.
There's not going to be a sequel to this movie. I mean, it's one of those movies that did okay. I don't know that Tom Cruise has a real hunger to go back to it.
I don't know. I've got a strange feeling that we are actually going to see this, because I think it was a film that didn't do brilliantly at the box office, and yet a lot of people discovered it afterwards and were like, I really like that.
I think
it's a strangely popular film.
Warner Brothers is already wary of sort of like doing these franchises just for the sake of doing them, like King Arthur.
This is the studio that made The Conjuring 2 last year.
That movie did wildly successful. Those movies don't cost anything. Those movies don't cost anything.
No, that is true.
I don't know. Do you read The Ankler?
Yes, I do. I get the email.
Did you see the King Arthur story yesterday?
I did not have time to read that, though. I saw you tweet about it.
Yeah, it was absolutely fascinating. Yeah. It was just like everything that went wrong during development and how, basically it got pushed through the studio system up there because there's this mandate for franchises, but you can't force it. And I feel like Edge of Tomorrow would be one of those forced franchises. Yeah.
Doug Liman apparently talked about that in an interview with Collider.
Yeah. I mean, isn't he like doing Dark Universe? Like, how many movies do we think he's imminently making?
Honestly,
he can only make one at a time.
He can. Or can he?
That was my Aziz. He can only make one at a time.
Trick yourself. But yeah, no, I mean, personally, if it does happen, and I think there's a stronger chance of it happening than not happening, just from my gut, I'd be open to that. But I think the title is terrible. It should have gone Edge of number 2 Morrow. Would have been the perfect title.
I like it.
Thank you. Okay, so what would you like to talk about next?
All right.
Okay.
I think we need to talk about this New Mutants thing.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this is okay. You say your bit.
Okay. So Drew McWeeny put these names out there like a year ago, practically.
Yeah.
None of them were ever really disputed at the time.
But we discussed them on the show.
We have discussed them on the show. I've discussed them on Twitter. And then yesterday, the Hollywood Reporter does an exclusive story. Exclusive. that Maisie Williams and Anya Taylor-Joy have closed deals, and I love that the reporter had to take to Twitter to sort of explain why now. It's like, I get you want to update us on the information, like, oh, the names were first linked to this project a year ago, but the deal making didn't start until this year, and okay, so then write the story. Right?
It's confirmed.
You don't need. You're right. You don't need to put everything. Everything does not need to be exclusive. Yep. It is just so ridiculous.
It's like these cable news channels that everything is breaking news.
Right.
It could be 24, 48 hours.
And then
breaking
the most
news,
interesting shit was put on Twitter again. Which I commend Boris for doing, actually. But he said that James McAvoy's Professor X will not be back.
Okay.
I thought that there had been. For me, this is what I had always heard. And he also said that Nat Wolff is not getting the movie, which is also what I'd heard. I'd heard that Josh Boone really went to bat for Nat Wolff, and Fox was like, absolutely not going to happen.
Which is a shame. I mean, I like Nat Wolff as a person.
I'm excited for Death Note,
guy,
but anyways, I'd heard that Jennifer Lawrence was coming back, that Fassbender was coming back, McAvoy, Sophie Turner, and... I guess that's it. Yeah, right. Not like Ty Sheridan. Ty Sheridan.
No.
But yeah, so the Professor X McAvoy thing threw me off. We still haven't heard about Fassbender or Jennifer Lawrence.
I would be very surprised if Jennifer Lawrence comes back.
I would be too, just because the movie's called New Mutants.
Surprised.
Like, let's focus on some New Mutants and not get hung up on the past.
And I think if James McAvoy is not coming back, which I'm kind of disappointed about, I don't think we'll see the Fassbender coming back either.
That's what I extrapolated from that tweet as well.
He wants. I think this is the feeling I get after his sort of box office performance for. Okay, he's still a box office draw, but a lot of his movies have not missed the mark. I think he wants to do a little reset on his career. So I would not be at all surprised if he steps away from X-Men completely. Because obviously he's had a couple of other movies which are big studio action-y type movies that have not performed, some dramas that have not.
So fucking good in Alien.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have not seen that, but I love the guy. But I think he would be more tempted to go, I'm going to draw a line under this one. So it would make sense if you are doing new ones to...
I'm just saying. I'm saying that is what I had heard a while ago, that all those people would be back: McAvoy, Fassbender, Lawrence, and Sophie Turner for this. But it seems that the McAvoy is not the case, and so I would agree with you that if he's out, it's likely that Fassbender would be out, and so then where would Jennifer Lawrence fit into this?
Yeah.
But I'm surprised they haven't mentioned Sophie Turner yet for New Mutants, or has she been? I don't know.
I mean, is she confirmed? I know her name. Her name keeps coming up in connection with it, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
What we're gonna see with
that. I think there's lots of exciting announcements in store for us.
But I do like Maisie Williams, and I do like Anna Taylor-Joy. I think I enjoy watching them. I mean, sometimes they don't always, it's not always the best thing. Like Morgan was not great for Anna, but I enjoyed her in it. Mm-hmm. And Maisie Williams has had a few things that have not been great movies, but she's been great in them. But yeah, no,
I heard Maisie was another one who Josh Boone really went to bat for, and the studio was a little, I don't know,
Well, often being a big name on a big TV show doesn't necessarily translate to being a big box office draw,
and that's true too.
So it is a little bit.
Seems
of
like
a risk.
seems like a safe bet. I mean, everybody loves her on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Is there anything else going on in the X-Men universe?
You touched in the X-Men universe. I don't think so from this week. Actually, it's been generally quite superhero light this week.
Right, but we did. There was
on
one superhero thing. Deadpool.
Yeah.
Besides Hellboy.
Yeah.
As far as Marvel stuff goes, there's going to be an animated Deadpool series.
Yeah, which I did not see that coming. I was quite surprised.
It kind of makes sense. The character's kind of perfect for animation.
Sense.
It's going to come from Donald Glover and his brother Stephen Glover,
Yep.
who is a writer on Atlanta with him. No word yet on whether Donald is going to be voicing Deadpool, but you would think that he would be if he's writing it and executive producing the show. Like, why wouldn't he? I don't know. I mean, that'll be interesting, but I like FXX and that sensibility. I know Archer has a lot of fans, and I could see Deadpool fitting in very well on that network.
And I think it could work really, really well. I think they'll be able to perhaps not have what they have in the movies, but I think certainly keep that sort of towards R-rated tone up.
So Donald Glover is now in Spider-Man.
Yep.
He's now making a Deadpool show.
Yep.
He's in Han Solo.
Yep.
And he's in The Lion King.
Yep.
It's been a good year.
It's not a shitty year for Donald Glover. If you've got Donald Glover stock, you're probably rubbing your hands right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So while we're talking about superheroes and all that stuff, let's also talk about predictions have started to come in from a number of industry press for Wonder Woman.
Yes. All over the place.
We're tracking
so,
for that.
So funny.
It's funny how people are standing on this. I mean, full disclosure, I'm getting to see Wonder Woman next week, so I'm very much looking to forming my own opinion on this. Mm-hmm. There have been a lot of varying responses coming out of test screenings. There have been a lot of varying responses about how the publicity for the film has been handled. A lot of...
Which has been nonsense.
Hot takes and contradictions and pieces that some people just write to get clicks.
It is amazing. The people that are allowed to write for the internet.
Well... we can get to that another time because I have a lot to say about that.
Okay.
So Wonder Woman, basically it's sitting somewhere between predictions from various respected industry outlets. I'll just use the respected ones. It's sitting somewhere between about 65 and 75, which is kind of around the box office for Captain America First One and Thor, the first Thor movie. Which is fine. It's not super exciting, but apparently it's tracking well with men and women of various demographics. So that's a pretty good sign. So how do you think the 65-75 kind of fits in with your expectations? Do you think that's about right?
No, it's obviously wrong.
So where do you think it's wrong?
Because tracking is always wrong.
Okay.
Tracking is the big... I can't even believe that studios pay for these numbers from tracking services because they are all fucking garbage. They're bullshit. First of all, you're too many weeks out. I mean, Mashable actually, even though I can't stand that website, they actually had a good article, and Dickie was writing about how tracking numbers are used to allocate resources. The studio decides based on tracking numbers where it should be spending its money and how much money it should be spending in the final weeks of a campaign. Mm-hmm. That is the whole point of tracking. I think in this case, the tracking, first of all, it's always low for blockbusters because we're all focused on the next blockbuster. So, this weekend or in the last week when people were being polled, they're still thinking about Guardians, they're still thinking about Pirates and Baywatch.
Yep.
It's just like... So the numbers are going to tick up as we get close to their release. I think 65 to 75 is a little low. Dickie went as high as 110 on Mashable, which I think is too optimistic. I think that there are a lot of superhero fans, men, boys, who are not going to see this movie because it's a girl movie. I do think that that is true.
Interesting.
I think that 85 to 90 is where I would put it.
Yeah. I would have gone 75, 85. I think 65, 75 is a little bit low. Yeah. I would have gone 75, 85. I'd be very surprised if it hits 100.
I don't think it will.
I would be delighted for Wonder Woman and Warner if it did hit 100. I just think it's 75, 85. So we're not far off on kind of what we're...
Yeah. Like 90 would be, I think, a huge win for this movie. 75 to 85 sounds about right.
And also in the industry, it kind of fits with... I mean, obviously it's DC and then comparing it with Marvel, but I think it kind of sits around that right space for those first solo movies from characters.
I think it's going to have legs, though. I think Wonder Woman's going to have legs.
Those legs.
That was not a joke. I think it's going to perform well throughout the summer.
Yeah. I think if word of mouth is good, I think we can actually see...
That's the other big thing. Because that can tip it $100 million either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I've heard people have been tweeting things, or I guess Boris actually tweeted something that he had spoken to someone without a stake in the game in Wonder Woman and a woman, and they left impressed.
Yeah.
But I can't say that the campaign, from what I've seen thus far, has blown me away. I can't say that.
When I obviously made the original comment about Wonder Woman, I referred to articles that have been going around about the advertising, and someone in Zeno Hour is asking in the chat, am I talking about the Donna Dickens article? Her article is one of the ones that I've seen. I've seen many people who have come at it from the same side, opposite sides, and different points of view.
What did she write? What
Any
did she write?
journalist. She
This
wrote
is
a
like
piece
saying
about
that Warner
I'll send
Brothers
you a link.
is letting the movie down and not marketing it well.
I'll send you a link about it, but I'm not targeting.
reason I blocked her on Twitter.
I am not targeting any particular journalists because there are lots of people who've put thought piece out on this.
Yeah.
So it would be unfair to single out one person. But she
I
was
get
one
you.
of the people that have brought up this issue.
I saw someone yesterday. I think I retweeted them. The whatever that line is that Warner Brothers is like deliberately tanking its movie is like one of the stupidest things this person had read in an entire lifetime of reading stupid things online. Yeah. They're just going about it differently.
But other people are agreeing with what you said about of tracking, and I do agree with it in part. I think it's a handy guide, but I think it is, as film nerd Jamie is saying, tracking is a flawed and spotty system. Ratan Muti said, "I've lost faith in tracking ever since Jurassic World." So yeah, I think
when was the last time tracking was accurate? Like, point me to these things.
Yeah.
Box office writing is. I
think it's an interesting.
I read David Pollan every week.
Okay.
Forgive me. Do you do a weekly box office report for Forbes?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I do some box office.
Who do you
stuff.
like read for box office? Like, I know Scott Mendelson is very good, right?
He features very heavily on box office stuff. I dabble in that, but not too much.
Who do you read?
I tend to usually go sort of variety. I find an outside one, which is usually wrong, but I find their takes quite interesting, is Box Office Pro.
Okay.
They're usually off by, at some margins, but I find their thought process very interesting. I like reading from the UK Charles Gant, who writes for The Guardian.
Okay.
Sometimes when he does stuff, his analysis afterwards is always very interesting.
Is it more internationally slanted?
That is more. It takes in the international, but it tends to be more UK focused, which I always find is quite interesting because sometimes there is that difference.
Yeah, that's the
between
perspective you care about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I care about the I'm personally more focused on the worldwide than any domestic market because I think it gives you the best picture. I think it's interesting to look at local markets. But yeah, I just find all these different viewpoints, it gives me more chance to look at gives me more input from my own perspective. The more information you have on a subject, the better form of an idea and an opinion you can have, I feel.
I like Anthony's coverage a lot on Deadline, and of course David Poland each week.
Yeah, Deadline's very good.
On the Hot Blog at Movie City News.
Deadline are usually on the money.
Man, THR's box office is not good. DHR does a lot of stuff right. The box office is often weak. But I just feel like the box office writing in general in this town is so hacky. Everybody just runs and gets a quote from Paul DeGarabedian or Jeff Bach, and it's like the same, or Harry Medvedder. It's just like the same 3 or 4 people quoted in every single story each week. And everybody speaks in like these perfect little sound bites.
Talking of box office, I wrote a piece for Forbes this week about 6 movies that I think could hit $1 billion this summer. I know obviously there'll only be a handful that
That's
will.
right, and I had beef with you.
Yes.
Beef.
Okay.
What were you going to say? What was your point though about
No,
this?
I was just saying that I wrote a piece on it, and some people. I mean, I threw a couple of underdogs in there that I think aren't.
They
likely
were
to,
major
but could.
underdogs, though. Like, you really think Apes is going to be $1 billion movie?
I think there is either $1 billion or very close to $1 billion, because if you look at the growth of that movie internationally,
yeah,
with
but
how
from
the
the first to the second, I get that leap, but that second to the third is not going to make a similar leap.
But the amount of a leap that it would have to make to get towards, I mean, I don't know if it'll make $1 billion. I think it'll certainly get close to that. That was one of my underdogs.
I'd be surprised.
I would be surprised, but I don't think it's not something I would rule out. I know it's a long shot, and I put that in the piece.
Yes, you did. No, I read the piece
so
carefully.
I justified it.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at the scale, the incremental scale of increase, and now obviously in that first movie, people were like, "Oh, okay, Apes movie, not so sure." They've been burnt by Tim Burton previously. Apes was not really
you just resell them on the concept.
Kind of a difficult sell internationally because I grew up with those movies in the UK. But it was really more
so
an American thing. I love them. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
but it's
a
kind
great
of
franchise.
there were many hurdles they had to get over. People embraced that first movie. Then when they saw the second movie, they were really psyched. Now they have 2 movies which are constantly replaying on cable, satellite, in-flight stuff. I think there's that connection with that stuff now where people are genuinely excited. A lot of people I've spoken to, not in the industry, and I asked them about what are the movies they're most looking forward to this summer. War of the Apes is on there.
It's high on my list as well.
Yeah,
no, I think it's going to do really well. I don't know if $1 billion is within. Its monkey grasp.
Like I say, it's a long shot, but I'm happy, like an ape, to throw feces in that direction.
A bunch of cool news going on here outside of that world, the franchise world. Dave Chappelle joined A Star Is Born.
Yep.
He's going to be playing a guy named Noodles. I love that. Dave Chappelle as Noodles.
Okay.
One of Bradley Cooper's old blues friends. Do you not a fan of Dave Chappelle, the actor?
No, I do like Dave Chappelle. I have some considerable misgivings about this film.
Because it's a remake of a story that's been told a million fucking times, or because it's Bradley Cooper's
that, and
directorial debut, or Lady
not
Gaga?
Sitting as if it's ingredients in a cake, it's just not sitting right for me. I'm not excited about it at all.
I kind of am. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
I really like Bradley Cooper a lot.
Yeah, and I love Lady Gaga. I love Dave. There are all the
ingredients. It's been a slow couple of years too. Like, I know he did American Sniper and American Hustle, and those were not that long ago. But
he did that terrible chef movie.
Yeah,
and he did Serena. Was the one he did? Yeah,
there's absolutely been some stumbles.
Stinkers,
I mean, even something like War Dogs, which I enjoyed. I liked it, but it didn't do very well. I'm looking forward to seeing what Bradley Cooper's got.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm a little bit.
The Lady Gaga thing, does that have you nervous or excited?
Excited.
Yeah,
because I like her. I mean, I when she does acting, the stuff she's done for like American Horror Story and other things, I genuinely really enjoy watching her. I think she's excelling in areas that I would have loved to have seen Marilyn Manson exceed as an artist, as an actor.
Marilyn
Manson.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
If you take someone from music who I thought could have been a really interesting acting talent, I think she's kind of going along that route, and I find her acting choices very interesting. I don't think she takes things that are lazy or easy. So I do. Like I say, they're an ingredients of the cake that I like. But I don't know. I'm not sure about the final product yet.
Okay.
I'm totally open to being swayed on that.
Well, I'm all for more Dave Chappelle in movies.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell and Jason Mamoa doing a comedy together. Will Ferrell's going to be like a has-been TV star.
Yeah.
And Jason Mamoa will play an actor who played his son on the TV show that he is best known for. And now Jason Momoa's actor character is super famous.
I like the idea of this.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. You see, I was like, oh.
It's very Hollywood. It's very, like, insidery.
I've also just...
Which worries me. And having seen the Momoa movie last night,
he doesn't strike me as someone who has
his acting chops.
Comedic talent. I don't see him as a great actor. I'm very much looking forward to seeing him as Aquaman. I don't look at him and think, he could be funny.
I like those big muscle guys doing comedy, like John Cena. I think is really good,
and some can do it, and some cannot.
The Rock is great, exactly. Some can do it, some can't.
Hulk Hogan.
But I like that Momoa is at least pushing himself to do something different, going in another direction, and doing it with someone like Will Ferrell, who's kind of like a safety net. Like no matter what happens with Jason Momoa, this movie will turn out okay because of Will Ferrell. I've heard very good things about The House, by the way.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a big Ferrell fan. I'm a big fan of his work.
Who isn't?
I mean, even though he's done some movies that have just not been really as good as they should have been.
Like The Campaign?
The Campaign was the first one that came to mind. Blades of Glory was another one.
Yeah.
I always enjoy watching him. The mental health one the other week that we mentioned.
Everything Must Go?
No, A Funny Thing Happened.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really enjoyed that movie, and I loved him in that.
He's in that movie? Is that Galifianakis?
Oh, it is Galifianakis, yes. Sorry.
It's okay. So, Ferrell and Momoa, I mean, it's an intriguing pairing. The premise strikes me as maybe a little too Hollywood.
That one needs a really strong script. So, Steve McQueen is going to direct a Tupac documentary. There seems to be a bit of a rush on Tupac movies right now. Which is
hot.
It's a great story, his life.
But is it? Or is it more like his death is the great story?
Yeah, it is. I mean, his career and his death. But I'm like, I don't quite know why all of a sudden there is this rush of interest in
Neither
Tupac.
do I. I'm like, I don't think if the Tupac movie looks that bad. I kind of want to see it.
Yep.
But I gotta say this. I was never a Tupac guy. Like, I don't know. It seems like he has been blown up into these mythic proportions. I know he was big when I was a teenager and, throughout the 90s, or, early to mid 90s, but I don't know. He just never meant as much to me as like a Jay-Z or a Snoop or a Dre. Yeah. Like, do you like listen to a lot of
Oh, well,
pop?
I'm a massive fan of rap.
You guys are brothers in baldness.
Yes, we are. We were indeed.
Wait, do you not listen to rap music?
No, I listen to rap music.
Do you listen to Tupac?
I used to listen to Tupac.
Like, I don't have Tupac on my phone. I don't have any
No,
Tupac songs.
I don't. I mean, my music taste is both atrocious and wide-ranging. It is one of the most
Wide-rangingly atrocious?
schizophrenic music playlists. If you looked on my Spotify, it's you would think. Well, you wouldn't know what to think, to be honest with you.
You'd be like, what the fuck is this?
You'd be like, who is this? So yeah, I mean, I like rap. I always have done. I just don't know. I mean, obviously, it's a documentary. It's going to be a different way of telling the story.
Yeah.
And it's Steve McQueen, and I really like his work.
Can't go wrong there.
So I think that bodes really, really well. But I'm just kind of confused as to why everybody's jumping on the Tupac bandwagon right now.
Yeah. Johhny Depp has that movie Labrynth coming out, and I think that there's another, series or something. I don't know if it's a docuseries or...
Every time I hear Johhny Depp and Labyrinth, I almost think for a second, oh, fuck, is he remaking... No. And he's the goblin. And then I'm like, no, he's not. It's fine. It's
capital A,
it's
Labrynth. To let you know, this movie is set in L.A. L.A. is a labyrinth. Get it? Holy shit.
Okay, let's talk about. We were talking about remakes earlier, and we are both very excited about this.
I know where you're going with this.
Radiohead's Thom Yorke is going to be scoring the Susperia remake, which is a stroke of genius, and I'm not aware of him doing this kind of stuff before.
You're not aware of it because it hasn't happened.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, have I missed it, or is this is a first time for him, right?
This is his first time doing an original score, composing a score, following in the footsteps of bandmate Jonny Greenwood.
Yep.
Who did There Will Be Blood. He's doing the new Joaquin Phoenix movie from Lynn Ramsey. Thom Yorke doing Susperia, and Susperia is very well known for its score by Goblin, I believe it is.
Yep.
The Argento movie, though it is a cult classic, it was never one of my favorite horror movies. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement. I think if anybody can pull it off, it is Luca Guadagnino. And he has a great cast to do it. So the fact that they got Thom Yorke to do this, oh my God, what a fucking coup.
I'm genuinely excited about this. Did you hear, it wasn't sort of widely put out there on sort of mainstream radio, but people like KCRW and NPR, they played this a lot when the film was out, and it was for Spectre. And Thom Yorke and Radiohead did their own Bond song, which was rejected in favor of Sam Smith. And it's not massively different to Sam Smith's, but it's different enough, and it's totally Radiohead. It's like a syncopated, offbeat kind of
not a beeps and bloops?
Fractured. No, it's not. It's still quite orchestral, and there's all the Radiohead stuff in there.
It's been a while since I've heard it.
It's genius. You should really check that out on YouTube. That to me, I think, as much as I kind of grew to love the Sam Smith song, I would have loved to have seen that. That would have been a perfect fit for Spectre, I think, for me. And if they had underscored that film, I think it would have lifted it considerably had they been involved in that.
Well, I think that goes for any
but
movie.
I'm very excited about this.
Thom Yorke bring his ethereal falsetto to Suspiria. It could be really interesting.
British, just saying.
Josh Gad got cast as Truman Capote in an indie movie, Party of the Century, with Chloe Moretz and Jack O'Connell.
Does not surprise me.
Can you see Josh Gad as Truman Capote?
I totally can.
So can I.
I had this conversation with. I was away at the weekend. I was talking to somebody who we were talking about casting, and they also used to be in the industry, and we both had the same thought about the fact that Josh Gad is kind of what Jack Black, and I've said this before, was a few years ago, where they would kind of put him in these certain physical roles that matched his physicality. And I don't want to see Josh Gad being overused. I'm delighted for him, because I really like him, that he's having so much success right now and being cast in so many movies. I just don't want him to become that typecast. Well, not typecast guy, but we need someone who has this physical stature.
Right.
Let's get him to do it. But
Whatever happened to that Russ and Roger movie? I thought he was going to play Roger Ebert. I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been nothing about that for quite a while.
Yeah, things have gone quiet on that front. But I can totally see Josh Gad as Capote.
Yeah,
it's been
100%.
long enough since the last Capote movies, too, that, I'm down for another one.
Yeah. I did love the one that Philip Seymour Hoffman did.
Honestly, I love them both.
Yeah.
I think Infamous is a great movie. Toby Jones is fantastic in that.
Toby Jones is amazing in anything.
Where should we move to? Did you hear about this Liam Neeson movie, Retribution?
That sounds like a Liam Neeson movie, but no, I haven't.
It's Speed in a car instead of a bus, essentially. So it's this guy driving to work, and his family's in the car with him.
Of course.
And he must get a call and say there's a bomb in the car, and he has to he's instructed to do a whole bunch of shit throughout the course of the day.
Right.
It's not like keep it above 50, but I don't know. Liam Neeson, don't these people know better than to fuck with Liam Neeson's family?
He's got a very particular set of skills.
Very particular.
Very particular.
They all deal with retribution.
Yeah.
They're all in service of that.
Yeah, I mean, as sketchy as some of those Liam Neeson action movies can be, I love seeing him in all of these sketchy action movies. And I also really love Speed. I watched it again 3 months ago.
It's a classic.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Neeson has some interesting stuff coming up. He has the Deep Throat movie, Felt, about Mark Felt, and he has The Commuter, another movie from John McCall-Sarah.
Yeah, the Deep Throat movie is not the remake of the porno.
Right.
Yeah.
That was just Deep Throat starring Liam Neeson.
Very clear about that.
I saw Alien last week, and
Okay.
actually, I think I can talk about that. The review
the
embargo
reviews are out.
lifted.
Yeah.
I liked it. It gets off to a slow start, but I guess that's par for the course in the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit slow, but once the shit does hit the fan about 45 minutes into this film, it doesn't let up. It delivered all the gore that I was looking for as a horror movie guy.
Yeah.
I loved Danny McBride. Fassbender is incredible. And I liked Catherine Waterston. I mean, again, Prometheus was a little bit more ambitious in what it was trying to do, but it also left me kind of not satisfied entirely and scratching my head and being like, what the fuck? I have a million questions. This movie is a little bit better structured, a little bit more simplistic, but I dug it. Are you excited to see this movie?
I am. I mean, we had this conversation in part before we started the show. I was away on Friday, so I wasn't able to catch those screenings. There's some screenings next week that I can't make because I've got work commitments. But I am genuinely looking forward to it. So I am actually going to go and spend my money at the box office and watch this. I've heard a lot of negative things about it, unfortunately. A lot of people have really
It's been
disliked
divisive.
it. It has been divisive.
Yep.
But I do want to see it myself and make my own mind up. But I love the Alien franchise. I mean, a lot of the films have been, in varying degrees flawed. But a lot of them I've learned to appreciate in slightly different ways, even if I don't think they're great movies. I mean, the first time I saw Alien 3, I seriously hated that movie. I was genuinely, I saw it here in the States while I was on vacation. I was genuinely pissed off at that movie. Over the years, though, I've revisited that.
You've come to appreciate it?
And I've come to appreciate it. Now, the following one that they did with Sigourney Weaver and Winona Ryder, I have never, in fact, I think I've learned to dislike that more and more over the years. But Prometheus, I thought was massively flawed, but okay. And I thought, I'm looking forward to Covenant. So
And
we'll
so
see.
Ridley Scott has been talking about doing another Alien movie,
has.
Alien Awakening.
Yeah.
That he said he's going to be shooting in 14 months, and there's another movie he's doing in January.
But yeah, and he's also said that originally there was a plan to do more Alien movies, and he did an interview this week, and he said basically he partly apologized for Prometheus, and he said he's going to sort of dial back potentially the number of stories that he's going to tell in the Alien universe. So we'll see how that happens.
Well,
but
that I liked. I mean, I didn't think that he owed anybody an apology for
No, I don't
Prometheus,
think
which
so.
is a decent movie.
Yeah.
But Yeah, when he came out, he's like, well, we're gonna do like 4 more Alien movies, 7 more Alien movies. Like, bro, hit the brakes. And I like that he scaled it back, the projections. He said maybe 1 or 2 more, right?
Yeah.
After Alien Awakening.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, I say keep them coming. I'll be interested to see what the box office is like on this. I'm genuinely interested.
The truth is, there's not that many great monster movies. Things like, Godzilla and Kong, to me, they don't deliver. I would much rather spend time with this space monster.
Yeah, no, me too. But, yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what happens in the future when obviously they have... I mean, obviously the Alien versus Predator stuff did not work out particularly well in its previous carnation, but I think with obviously the reboot of Predator, if they decided to revisit that kind of... galaxy again, I'll be pardon the pun. I'll be quite interested in seeing that. But let's see. I mean, I'm still, even though I've seen a lot of negative stuff, I'm very much still looking forward to catching Covenant.
Speaking of Fox movies, did you see who James Cameron cast in his Avatar sequels?
Yes, I did.
Cliff Curtis.
Yeah,
love Cliff Curtis. Great character actor. Yeah. He's going to be playing the leader of the Reef People. So the Reef People live underwater on Pandora. We haven't really explored that, right?
Yep.
Plenty of other corners of that universe left for James Cameron to explore over the next 4 films, which could all be 3 hours long for all I know.
I could not be less excited about the Avatar sequels. Seriously, I'm just...
Hey, man, if the second one blows me away...
Yeah. But the first one didn't blow me away.
I liked the first movie. I didn't love it. I haven't actually revisited it, but I remember enjoying it. But Cliff Curtis, do you have a favorite Cliff Curtis role? Is there anything that he stands out from to you?
No, I mean, I find his performances generally entertaining. I mean, I quite enjoy him in a program, but I think it's because he's better than the program, Fear the Walking Dead.
I love how you call it a program.
Yeah.
I have to get home to watch my program. Oh,
bloody hell, I've got to watch a program, mate. On my telly box.
Wait, which movie? I didn't even...
It's Fear the Walking Dead spin-off.
Of course.
Yeah, which, like, nobody is watching,
and Cameron, the report, I guess, said that they will be shooting around his schedule on that show. So fans of Fear of the Walking Dead, you don't have to worry. He's not going anywhere.
Well, maybe he is.
Oh, shit! Spoiler. I don't know.
I don't know what's happening this season.
I have no
idea. I have the first 3 episodes to watch this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that.
Cliff Curtis in Training Day, though. He's just great. Just great. He's the guy who almost blows Ethan Hawke away in the bathtub with a shotgun. Blade Runner trailer dropped this week.
It did.
Right?
Big event for that on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Got the director and the cast out to do a Q&A.
And Scott Mantz. Scott Mantz doesn't come out for just anybody.
Scott Mantz is all over the place this week. I was at the Get Out thing. He was doing that Q&A.
He does them all, baby.
Dude, Scott, if you can't make some of them, I'm more than happy to fill in.
I'll talk to Mance
have a little chat with Mance Man.
So, Blade Runner, what did you think? Do you think it looks amazing?
Do I think it looks amazing? I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. I like the trailer. It hasn't warmed my cockles yet.
Guys, if Simon's cockles aren't warm, you got to rethink those marketing materials.
But having said that, Blade Runner, the first one, it took a long time for me to appreciate that movie. When the first time I saw it, I didn't like it, and now I genuinely love the movie.
I appreciate its artistry and how influential it was and that kind of thing. But
here's where I'm at with the trailer. I like what I've seen so far, and it's left me wanting for them to build on that, to give me more above that. Now, so many trailers now, they give you so much up front that when you get there, it's kind of... It's blown its wad early, basically. You kind of know all the funny bits or the big, exciting action bits. You can kind of piece it together. With this, I think, if anything, they might be holding back. Now, we've seen this with a lot of Villeneuve's work previously.
And they're far out, too. I mean, it's not till October.
The Arrival trailers looked amazing. When you saw Arrival, it was so much bigger and so much fuller and so much richer than even the trailers.
A tenth of the cost, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am genuinely interested. I'm totally invested in this. And yeah, I am looking forward to it.
I think it looks amazing. They are being very they're keeping the story shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
And yet not. It's almost like the secret is hiding in plain sight, where, you have Ana de Armas telling Ryan Gosling how special he is. Like, obviously people are left to think, is he a replicant? What is this question that has fascinated pop culture for decades about whether Harrison Ford's a replicant? I don't give a shit who's a replicant.
Did Green Greedo shoot first? It's like, I got things to do.
Is he a replicant? Is he a replicant? Is she a replicant? Who fucking cares?
Your mama's a replicant.
Yeah,
what?
Really.
Don't know why I did
Beauty
that.
and the Beast, biggest PG-rated movie of all time.
It
huh?
is, yeah. I mean, that seriously has. I mean, obviously Disney knew that was going to do well, but it's done phenomenally well. But also, great movie. So
Great movie.
I don't
The
really
greatest.
mind when great movies earn a shitload of money.
What did it pass? Do you know? Do you know what it beat out for that record?
I don't. I should have looked that up. That was
Do your
what the
research.
fuck?
Unbelievable.
Other casting news. We were talking about casting news earlier. Christina Hendricks is going to star in The Strangers 2. Now, the original obviously starred Liv Tyler.
Yes.
And that was
who knows? Maybe they
9
make a cameo in this one.
Ah.
I have no idea. I doubt it.
9 million budget, took 82 million worldwide, which is a very impressive turn. I also like Christina Hendricks, so I'm very pleased to see her signing up for that. I like The Strangers. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out.
I really like The Strangers too. The Strangers worked and was as big as it was because of one of the most effective trailers that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, when I was in a theater and you know, you see, I forget if it's Liv Tyler or Scott Speedman in the living room, and then you just see like a figure standing behind them. Creepy as fuck. It was an all-time great trailer. And I really think that's why the movie did so well. This movie is not going to have that kind of breakout success. No. Christina Hendricks, I know she has 6 Emmy nominations for Mad Men. I wasn't a big Mad Men guy. The big screen has really struggled to know what to do with her. I don't think she's a great movie actress, but if all she has to do is run around from a bunch of psychos this movie, it shouldn't be that hard.
No.
And I like that she does have a lead role. Like, we've seen flashes in Fist Fight and Bad Santa 2 and The Neon Demon and Drive, just like little roles. So I'm down to give her a bigger character to play.
Talking of characters and actors and character actors, Michael Parks unfortunately died this week at the age of 77.
Was sad.
If you haven't seen Kevin Smith's Red State, check it out.
It's a tour de force performance by Michael Parks, and I got to interview him. I remember Kevin Smith had issued a challenge on Twitter to people who were going to Sundance that year, and they said, "Listen, this guy Michael Parks, he's the story. It's not me. It's not Kevin Smith's Red State. It's Michael Parks' Red State." And so I took him up on it, and I tracked Parks down. I think his number was just like on IMDb or something. He had no representatives, and we had an amazing hour and a half long chat. And you can go find that interview on The Wrap. But yeah, it was very sad to hear the news.
Yeah. He's done a lot of good roles. I mean, he's worked with the likes of Tarantino and stuff as well. So
he's in Kill Bill.
Beauty and the Beast is on
He's great in Tusk,
1.187
too.
billion. Yeah. So that was disappointing. David Lynch, obviously Twin Peaks is about to come back. David Lynch says he's no longer going to be directing movies, which I think is a shame. But also I think David Lynch movies will be quite difficult to sell in the current market. I think there'll be an audience for them, but I don't know where that would fit. And it would be a shame to see the work of such a genius being...
I'm not a big Lynch guy.
I find his work patchy and interesting, but I do...
Patchy and interesting.
Yeah.
I find it challenging and...
Dull?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, now I'm genuinely pleased about this. You laughed when I told you this. Redbox is adding 1,500 new DVD rental kiosks across America this year. Now, I am so much of a hard format guy when it comes to home entertainment. I stream, I do. I've got Netflix and all the other ones. I do genuinely miss, and you can't beat the quality of a Blu-ray or a DVD going in and watching that, having that satisfaction, having all those extras. I'm happy about this. If anything drives people back to renting physical formats, I'm on board with that.
Bro, let me ask you, are you fucking kidding me right now? Do you actually use a Redbox?
No, I have a shitload of Blu-rays and DVDs, but I love seeing them out there.
But
I wish we still had Blockbuster.
do you really go through the extra features on a DVD?
I do.
I never. I
do.
used to
I genuinely
do that
do.
sometimes, like 5 times, but I've got like thousands of DVDs, and no, I basically ignore all that stuff. Streaming's fine for me. iTunes Store, have a digital purchase, have it in the cloud. That quality, you don't like that quality? You prefer the quality of a DVD?
Yeah, and I just like having a library of movies. I still like that. I'm still hard format.
I just, 1,500...
I don't buy a lot. I don't
more-
buy as much as I used to, but I still like having the hard
1,500
format.
more Redbox units. Just to me, I'm just imagining 1,500 people like across the country standing there like idiots, scratching their heads like, "Ooh, what do you want to watch tonight, hun?" I go up to these people at the grocery store and at 7-Eleven, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Do you guys need any help? Because I'm a professional." It's one of my great joys is helping people find a movie. Because if they love that movie, it's like, oh, this guy. He did a
You
mitzvah.
giving advice at a Redbox must be one of the harshest fucking supermarket experiences ever.
I will tell you.
I want to
people
watch
are
the
creeped
cell.
out.
A-hole!
Dude,
Moron.
So many people, they'll be like, what about this little piece of shit? And I'm like, I haven't heard great things. You sure you want to watch that? And they're like, yeah, I think so.
That's terrible.
Yeah, honestly, I should have a web series about me helping people at a Redbox because it is quite funny. Is there any other
coming soon
last...
to Hulu and Redbox?
Yes. Are there any other last stories you want to get to?
No, I just want to touch on box office for this weekend. A couple of movies coming out. Someone asked if I'd seen The Wall or you'd seen The Wall.
I did see The Wall.
You did see it. I didn't.
I'm planning to write a review. I'm halfway through it.
Okay.
I liked it. It's not great, but I liked it.
Snatched this weekend. Previews last night. 650,000. Looking at a weekend of 15 to 17 million. I think that's about right. People were saying 25 million earlier. I thought that was a bit high. And King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, a film with a $175 million budget. 1.2 million in previews last night, and are looking at a 25 million weekend. This is not looking like a win.
Stop making movies about these old characters.
King Arthur and Robin Hood. Nobody wants more of those movies.
Nobody wants
Nobody
this
wants
shit.
them. Stop making them.
Oh my God. This is what happens when all your executives are 55 years old.
Yeah. So it's not going to be... Guardians was probably going to walk away with it anyway. I think that was a given, for another weekend. But this is not strong competition. Although, interesting enough, my wife wants to go and see Snatch this weekend. So I'll be doing the husbandly duty and paying money to go and see Snatch.
Wonderful. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we missed this week. We don't have time to get to it.
Just
check out my Jeff Goldblum story, which is kind of funny. I had a good encounter with Jeff Goldblum this week over on the tracking board. You've been watching Meet the Movie Press on the Popcorn Talk Network. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe.
Do it.
I'm Jeff Sneider, editor-in-chief of the Tracking Board, at the InSneider on all social media. And Simon?
You can find me on Twitter at ShowbizSimon, Instagram at ShowbizSimon, and Facebook, This is Simon Thompson. And can I just say, we do appreciate your comments, but if you try and troll people, they will be deleted. I'm just going to say.
There's no.
You can write comments about me being an egghead, which as a grown man is not an offensive insult at all. I realise that I'm bald. But your comments will be deleted. So pull any of that shit, nobody will see it. So good luck.
I'm going to the Museum of Ice Cream.
No!
Everybody have a good weekend.
Oh, you feel like Oprah. See you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.